here. Oh, here we go. Let's keep it going. Crescendo. Here we go. Here we go. Keep it going. Let's give it up for my friend and yours, Paul Kuster.
Hey, how about a hand for Brian? Hey? Funny man, funny man. I'm a friendly guy. That's one of the things I love about doing comedy, because I like meeting people. And this happened the other day downtown on Stephen Ave. I see an older white gentleman who looked lost because he had his phone out. He's looking at the street signs, looking around, phone, looking at the street signs. And all I did is I simply walked up to him and said, "Excuse me, sir, where are you trying to get to? I can probably help you out." And he turned around, no word of a lie, looked at me, and goes, "There! There! Why are you talking to me, you brown person?" He actually said that. He actually said that. So I decided to handle it. I was going to say something, I was going to do something, but then I remembered what my dear mother told me years and years ago. She goes, "Paul, if you ever run into people like that, you handle it the way an Indigenous gentleman would." So I stabbed him. That idiot. Calgary Flames finally did the right thing. Hey, a couple weekends ago. They finally did the land acknowledgement. You guys were aware of that? Hey? Yeah, that's awesome. They finally did it. They're the last Canadian team to get on board with doing it. And I thought it was great because they had the young woman from Siksika singing the national anthem in Blackfoot. I thought that was really cool. They had the 7 Chiefs do the ceremonial puck drop. I thought that was awesome. But I thought they could have done a little bit better. Instead of having all the Chiefs, they could have had Alberta's own, that's right, Cherokee Princess, Danielle Smith. She should have done. You guys remember that? She's, "Oh, I'm Cherokee," right? And then they did a genealogy search, and "No, you're not Cherokee." I'm the premier, right? What an idiot, right? I would have loved to see her do that, and then the ghost of Gino Ojic comes out of the fog and just boom into the boards. And oh, she is down. She is down. And then singing the national anthem, you could have Ward 13 councillor Dan McLean. You guys remember him? He's on city council right now, and he got busted on video impersonating Native people very poorly, okay? But guess what they were doing, him and his buddies? They were doing impressions of Brocket 99. Just by round of applause, how many people know Brocket 99, right? It's this cult hit. And it was a bunch of journalism students, broadcast students from the University of Lethbridge that are white guys that did it, right? And so it's super offensive, but damn, they nail Blackfoot accents, man. And the star of the show is Ernie Scar. This is Ernie Scar, playing some AC/DC. For those of you getting up, for those of you who have that job, make sure you get there on time, right? And it goes into some pretty dark stuff. Anyway, he got busted on camera doing this, and he's an elected city official. Like, what an idiot, right? You don't do that. But I'm willing to cut him a break because he did do an apology, and he held it, I think it was outside his house. Do you guys remember this? And who did he bring along with him? He brought a little tiny old Native woman, an elder, right, for the press conference, right? He probably got her off the street in Bowness, right? And then he's still going, right? So next Halloween, I'm going to go as him. I'm going to bring a white woman. And then selling concessions. You could have the guy who ran for mayor. Remember that crazy little guy, Kevin J. Johnston? Remember him? He was the guy who was threatening Alberta Health Services employees, right? Anti-masker, he was wanted on assault. Broke all these laws on all these different provinces. He's had to do time in each province, right? And he was running for mayor. And my buddy sent me his Facebook page, and I'm not making this up. He was selling his own coffee brand. He was selling his own coffee brand. And it was called Wasted Native Coffee. That was the title of it, yeah. And the catchline was, "Hey, don't huff gas, huff this." I couldn't stop laughing. I laughed my ass off. And my buddy, who's white, who sent me the page, he goes, "How can you laugh at that?" I go, "Bro, this is comedy gold, right?" He goes, "Well, doesn't it make you angry?" I go, "Of course I'm angry. It shouldn't be wasted Native. It should be wasted Indigenous." Get it right, man. We just had I think this we're making progress as a society, right? Because in September we've got Truth and Reconciliation Week, and on September 30th it is now Truth and Reconciliation Day, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, I think it's awesome. We had our second one, and so I decided to go mark it on the Blackfoot people's one of the most sacred spots, and no, it's not Nose Hill. It's Chicken on the Way. Go to Chicken on the Way, man, especially the one in Kensington, because it's always families from Stony, Dakota, picking up a family feast with some fry bread right before they head out of town, right? It's a sacred spot, right? So, there's no Blackfoot people here, are there? The death of the Queen, that was sad. I was actually sad about that because I always thought she was just a nice, sweet little old lady. That's what I thought about Queen Elizabeth II. And my friends said, well, how could you like her? She's the monarchy and colonialism and all that. And I was like, no, man, she was cool, right? So I was sad when she passed away. So I marked her death by going onto some Crown land. With a bottle of Crown Royal. And I drank that whole bottle of Crown, and then I pissed on the Crown land, and then I puked on the Crown land, and then some uppity oil and gas guy got, stop that. Get off the land. Which I thought was ironic, saying that to the native guy. And it wasn't a white guy, it was a Blackfoot man working for an oil and gas company downtown. Now traditionally, Blackfoot and the Cree, we were mortal enemies. We used to go to battle all the time. So we decided to settle things the old school way. So we tied our wrists together, and we didn't have knives, but we had drumsticks from Chicken on the Way. Used to work in the news business. I worked for Global TV for 12 years. It was a great gig until the day my boss hauled me aside. He said, Paul, we've heard this rumor you're doing stand-up. Is this true? And I was like, yeah. He goes, well, we can't have you doing that. And I was like, why not? He said, we think it's going to affect your credibility as a journalist. And I was like, what credibility? I'm hammered right now. You want to become a television reporter, show up at the scene of anything with a microphone, walk up to the first human being you see and go, what happened? How do you feel about that? And then to make it look like you really knew what you're doing, you do this. Any idiot could do it. I did it for 12 years. I'd be walking down the street, people come up to me and go, hey man, I know you, you're that dude from the news. I go, yeah. They go, you're Darmot Boole. Darmot Boole was an East Indian weatherman. An East Indian weatherman for another TV station, right? And I don't think I look East Indian. I don't think I do, but I'm Cree from Saskatchewan, which is technically east of here. So I guess that makes me East Indian to a point. You had to have a messed up sense of humor to work in the news business, right? Because all they do is they cover death and destruction. They get off on that stuff, right? And so people have that dark sense of humor. And because they never do like another plane landed safely at YYC today, right? They never do that. This guy went nuts. This is a true story. Goes nuts, calls up his ex-wife, and he goes, honey, I love you, but I'm coming home. I'm going to kill you. And he hangs up. She calls the cops. He's walking to her house with a loaded rifle, and the guy's doing this, his name was Les. Les got surrounded in a park near her home by the cops, and he winds up to himself. Well, the cameraman and I were there covering the story, and I'm doing a stand-up explaining how Les wound up dead in these bushes. I finish, and my cameraman looks at me and goes, Kuster, great take. You want to do one for fun now? Like, for fun? And I was like, yeah, all right. Because we were pretty high. So I go, this tragedy has left Les's family and friends wondering to themselves, could I have done more for Les? So I don't work at Global anymore. Turns out they ran the wrong story. I'm wearing a Jays ball cap. I met a buddy out there, a new guy, just met him, bald cap. outside. Remember the guy who showed up in the Uber? Where is he? There he is, right on, man. I can't see anything up here. Yeah, and I love his style, right? And I've got this awesome ball cap, this Jays cap. I've got Expos caps. I got generic caps. I always get them in different styles, different color schemes. I just love them. And I even have a Cleveland Indians ball cap. You can feel the tension already. Hey, now they're the Guardians, right? But I got the cool one. It was a blue cap with a red C. And the only reason why I got the thing is because it looks cool. That's the only reason why I got it. I'm doing a show, and I go for a smoke after, and this woman comes up to me, and she goes, why, how could you? You're indigenous. And I'm like, hey, take it easy there, Sister Sledge. At least I'm not wearing the second Cleveland Indians ball cap, which is now outlawed in Major League Baseball. It was the Chief Wahoo cap. You guys remember that? Chief Wahoo cap? And it was a caricature, cartoon face of a Native American with super red skin, and he's got this stupid smile on his face, and he's got a headband with a feather sticking up, and she goes, doesn't that offend you? I go, of course I'm offended. It's my cousin's grad photo. Okay, guys, that's my time. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
Keep it going for Paul Kuster, everybody. Keep it going. You know what? Let's just keep that energy going for your second guest comedian of the evening.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Went on tour with him. He's absolutely
Thanks,
hilarious. Please give a warm welcome to